Daniel.
Yes, just a little information for the last caller that called in. Yes, you are correct. You can do, or TJ, you're correct, because I kind of found this through you. And what I did, remember, this is not legal advice, and I can't guarantee anything. All I can guarantee is this. The 7 times that I've done it, it's worked. I know somebody who's done it hundreds of times, and it worked. The few times that they did it in front of me, it worked. Now, this technique is called, and I discovered it on my own based on some of your research, and then getting with another friend of mine and us going through these UCC books at this law library. And what it is it's a technique that someone else coined, holding court using registered mail. The refusal for cause without dishonor is what you write from left, the bottom. Like theoretically, it's one side is civil and the other side's criminal. And then when you look at that side, one side's criminal, the other side's civil. Anyhow, you go to the post office, you get the 0200 label, the 3806 form, and the 3811 form. And you take and you write across from left to right, refusal for cause without dishonor, and you write the 200 red label number spaced exactly the way it's written on the label, on the top of the letter. If you open it, you do it on the letter itself. If you don't, and you know where it comes from, and you know it's a presentment, right? Is that what it's called, presentment?
Yeah, it's a presentment.
Then your presentment, you write it. And then you write on the bottom, and this is what I discovered from listening to your channel, under your stuff, UCC 3-501 and UCC 2-207 2C. And the 2 and the C go in separate parentheses by themselves. Then on top, you write refusal for cause without dishonor. I did it for refusal for cause without dishonor, and on the bottom, you write, and then on the other side, you flip it and you do the same thing. You could do it on top and bottom with the 200 red label. You let her put the red label on, and then when you do the, I think it's the 38.
That's on the envelope, just people listening to make sure they understand.
Right, but when you do the form, the 3806, it's going to ask you if you're the agent or the addressee. I think you got to put that you're the addressee, not the agent. That could mess it all up. In that case, it's refusal for cause without dishonor, UCC 3-501, comma, UCC 2-207 2C. You don't even have to go to court. A friend of mine got a ticket for a red light. He was trying not to take the red light, but he was kind of in a rush. So he came to me for my help. I was like, yo, I got this dude I know, TJ. This dude is top cat, man. He's real good. Sign up for his website, whatever. Understanding which used to be UCC 2-201 turned into, if I'm not correct, UCC 1-308, correct?
207 turned into 308.
207 turned into 308. All right, so this is for sure. All you have to do is look it up. UCC 3-501, comma, UCC 2-207 2C. Remember, the 2 and the C go in their own little separate parentheses by themselves.
Separate parentheses, yep, that's common, okay.
And then on the top, you ask the lady, and you let the lady put the 200 label on. Ask her for it ahead of time and take it off to the side. And then write exactly the way the number is on the label on the top of the envelope, or if you open it, on the top of the form. You could do it on top and bottom, just depends. Now, what I noticed is, when I learned from you, is to, whenever you try to figure out who you need to send it to, oversend it. Send it to your brother, the agency that, because the ticket had 2 different agencies on it. I was tripping out. I was like, the one agency is collecting the money, and another agency is telling you this is who it's from. I'm like, and one is in Washington, D.C., and the other one is in Philadelphia. I'm like, what the hell is that? And this place where he got the ticket
of the District of Columbia, yep.
Yeah, and where the person got the ticket at is in Florida. I'm like tripping out. And so when I do this,
That's the whole mail fraud sleight of hand thing too, because it's the
Oh.
actually the return label, the return address on the envelope is usually the commission of the mail fraud.
And
But
you know what?
whole other lesson.
Right, and what this does is this actually does a bunch of things that I researched thanks to you. See, like I'm learning, like I'm learning. What this does is, vehicle cause without dishonor, it holds the chain of custody in case you need it as evidence in a court case, right?
I'm just trying to think of how you put that, but yeah, I think that's a
If
fairly
you
good way to
register
put it.
those.
Yeah.
And it holds the chain of custody.
When they're presenting you something through the mail, it is an offer.
Yeah.
And it's an offer. And you can accept the offer. You can conditionally accept it. You can refuse it. And essentially what you're describing is essentially a form of an actual conditional acceptance. You're saying, well, here I'm accepting it, but I'm refusing it for cause, without dishonor, according to these laws. I'm not entering into a contract with you. That's all you're really sending back to them and telling them. Then if you go to court, you have the evidence that you now have a registered security in your hand. That's why we use registered. And that you have acknowledged it, you've given it your valuable consideration, returned it. There's no more controversy.
So if anybody wants to see how to do it, I don't know if you recommend it or not, but listen, I don't do this.
Do me a favor, email it to me. I think we have something like it in an example, but I want to compare it to what we have.
Yeah, but I've developed an advanced way to even do it with the $22 stamp. It also maintains the chain of custody for a document if you ever have to have it as evidence. So there's another form that I tried to do. I'm going to send it to you, my email, but all of this stuff, I just sit down and I learn from you. I learned from you explaining.
Well, I learn a lot still, like getting feedback to see how people do something, tweak it. Then we can kind of like say, well, that makes sense, so we'll share it where we can.
Like I said, TJ, thank you very, very much. I can't even tell you how you've been such a great help in educating me on things like Article 3 courts, Administrative Article 1 courts,